Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm Ross Cook with the Center for Balance and Effective Communication. Tonight, I want to talk about the energy and focus of just what do we do in a given moment. You know, our life is made up of many, many pieces and parts, and we act out different roles and different things in our lives. So let's just talk about the energy and focus of a given moment. I know our lives are busy and we're out there and we're scrambling. We got a lot of pressures, a lot of things going on, and we've talked about that in FOMO and JOMO before. Tonight we're going to talk about it slightly differently, and we're going to use a reference. If some of you are familiar with my practice, we're not going to talk just of self-love and the components of that. We're going to talk about some other self-actualized, contours of the shape of our world. So you have a lot of things going on in your life, and they're happening. But the issue is about energy usage and focus in a given moment. Because if you use energy a certain way and you focus a certain way, or do not focus a certain way, and you just allow your energy to be squandered through a rush of a bunch of different things, those moments compound and eventually determine what you have, what you do, who you are, and that becomes the story of your life. So let's talk just for a moment. Let's think, if you're a tennis player out there, you can get to this one pretty easily. If we throw you a tennis ball and you can hit it with your racket or catch it with your racket or at least make the ball hit the strings, you don't have to be a tennis player to be able to do that. That's reasonable. People can do that. But what happens if we were to throw 30 tennis balls at you at once? You wouldn't be able to catch them and stop them on the strings. You wouldn't be able to hit all of them. You would be overwhelmed, and you probably wouldn't hit any of them. All right? The same example is true if you're not a tennis player and you're sitting across the table and I throw you a ping pong ball. You can catch a ping pong ball. But if I were to throw 25 ping pong balls at you, you probably would catch 0 ping pong balls. So what's that have to do with what's going on? In our lives, we're overrun by a lot of things all the time. And a lot of those things are external things that we think we oughta, shoulda, need to do. And a lot of those things are just our breathlessness running from pillar to post constantly. All right? So let's think about that slightly as how and what am I going to focus on in a given thing, to get one thing done, to attend to one thing, to love one thought in a given instance. And I really mean in an instant, all right? Good. Those of you who balance and those who've done the inner vision work and the inner journeying work that we teach and have been teaching for 26 years, just re-scripting your subconscious mind, you realize we talk about time and how time is often ephemeral. And when you go in and do things differently in your life, your sense of time changes. And I will tell you, whether you balance it or if you've done some inner journeying work or whether you just want to, what you're going to find out when you begin that work is time does change. If I am very present in now, deep breath, long pause, now, deep breath, long pause, now, and my life is comprised of those present moments in a now, we then begin to describe our days and our focuses within that day incredibly differently. And it's really funny because it gets explained very differently because all the people are doing balancing works with everyone. So we get all kinds of people balancing. So they bring very, very incredibly different backgrounds and communication patterns, archetypal patterns to the discussion. Most people say the world slows down. And what that means is when they think back about this morning, it literally feels like it was a year ago. It's a long time. You can think of it, but there's very little of that rushing through into your now. You're just in the present moment and have been each moment since this morning. It tends to slow the world down, okay? What's really odd, though, is some people say it speeds their world up. What it is being balanced, journeying within, being relaxed and incredibly vital simultaneously. Kind of like an athlete gets after you've been running a long time, or maybe an artist or a painter gets after they've been working on a drawing, a sketch, or a painting. for a long time. They don't know what time it is, and yet they have tremendous vitality. They don't know how long they've been there, and they are completely at peace and relaxed. Okay? But in a small segment of people, they'll say their world speeds up when they experience those kind of Zen zone experiences. And here's why they mean them. If they used to get the sniffles that then led to a chest cold that then led to flu-like symptoms, and it lasted 10 days, and now, by journeying within, they can find the causal factors of that, deal with those situations, and then interrupt that illness. So instead of it taking 10, 11 days to heal, they heal in about an hour and a half. They see that as fast. That's really, really fast, even though in doing it, they came into a very slowed down and comfortable yet vital now, a very relaxed state. Because it didn't take 10 days, they see those 10 days compressed. It's very interesting that it happens like that. Well, what's that have to do with the tennis balls being thrown or the ping pong balls being tossed to you? Well, what we're talking about is learning to focus on one thing. Just plain and simple, on one thing at a time, and finding out causal factors, where did it come from and everything. If you spend any time reading Thoreau, he's going to say that self-reverence, self-knowledge, and self-control are the components of a quality now. Right now, being in the world, that's what you need to have simultaneously happening. Okay, so let's take that. If someone's going to toss me a ping pong ball and on it is written self-reverence, and that means an appreciation, right? And a deep, abiding respect for what's going on. Well, if that's an abiding respect for me, and that's all I focus on, that doesn't make you a bad person. That just allows you to determine who you want to be within yourself, not just a bunch of roles from the past or so. No, how are you going to manage your energy in that given moment of deep respect and appreciation of who you are? Secondly, he says, you, in a moment, capture self-knowledge. And that means you have to self-educate. Take some time to read. Take some time to be quiet. Take some time to be within yourself. A couple hours a day, literally. And what have you done to build experiences that support this and not just the 30 tennis balls being thrown at you? Yeah, I had them throw 100 tennis balls at me. No, you weren't any better at that. It was, a matter of fact, even more stressful and speedy. No, you have to go for wellness, go the other direction, okay? To flow and slower world. Of the three, he also says self-control. And by control, he means influence and direction. And most of the time when we think about influence and direction, we're thinking out there, away from us, of what we're going to direct in others, or what are we going to influence. No, this is about self-control and self-direction within yourself. And again, it's appreciation, it's deep respect, it's a journey within, and it's experience and education in self-control, self-knowledge, and self-reverence. Those are good ones. Lao Tzu said a long time ago that if a river had an ego, it would never get to the sea. Think about that for a moment. All these balls are flying in here and you're stopping and battling with them all the time. If that river were doing that to go into the sea, no, it has a power. It has a synergy that's beyond everything else. It doesn't stop and battle it out with every pebble and every corner. It goes around as it flows. It has a strength and a gravity and a movement that is beyond everything else. And that is the synergy of a well you. That's what we're looking for. If the river had an ego, it would never reach the sea. Now, let's wrap these three ideas together with the idea of how much simplicity and how much courage does it take in a given moment to be happy? How much courage and how much simplicity does it take in a given moment to do something differently? The nature of truth, and those of you who know me well, we can talk about truth versus validity for hours, but let's just simplistically tonight say the nature of truth is kindness and compassion. If that's one of those balls I'm thinking about, if that's one of those things I'm going to hit today or I'm going to capture today, I'm going to catch them one at a time, then I want compassion to be it. I want truth to be it. I want kindness to be those things. I want happiness to be those things. And I might have to be really courageous to let those other things drop around me and rattle around on the floor as I capture and focus on one thing and one thing only. The truth will always work out and it will always win. But the challenge is we have to let it. We have to let it win. We have to get these other distractions and the multiplicity of things that bombard us in a moment. We have to get those out of the way and capture one thing at a time with all that we are. Hey, you're great. Thanks for visiting tonight. This is a really nice message of control and of knowledge and of reverence. And it's for you. Just take it and play with it. Do something differently today. Do something differently tomorrow. I believe in you. If I can help you, let me know. You know, we have books out there. We have calendars out there for you. You can contact me at rosscookbalancing@gmail.com. Just let us know how we can help you live your life weller and more differently now. But remember, the journey is going to happen within you. It is your journey. I believe in you and I know you can do it. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Just go do something differently. And Jomo.